Hey everybody, this is Gigi.
And this is Lor-Shing.
And this is our first podcast episode.
Spirit fingers.
So I guess this has been a project in the making. We've been talking about this together for the past
well over a year,
and we've gone through a lot of discussions of what we creatively want to do, but in the end went back to square one and decided we just need to do it. I love talking, Lor-Shing loves talking, so we thought might as well talk to a microphone and record it.
Yeah, essentially. Well, G, why don't you tell our listeners kind of what to expect? What are we going to do?
Yeah, so, we're going to try to just talk about the things that we've been thinking about, music we've been listening to, news we've been following, what's been going on with our lives, and things around us. That's going to be the first half of the podcast episode, and the second half we're going to introduce a friend, a person that we find really fascinating, that we find their story very fascinating, and interview them, talking about their experience, their unique experiences, and, a topic that we love talking with them about. So,
I'm so excited for people to listen to that.
Yeah, we hope it's entertaining. We hope it also sparks discussion, more interest in people's lives and just the things that are going on around us. We'd also love to hear other people's interests and, the news, the music, the movies, whatever they've been following.
Yeah. So, in some regards, we hope we hope this is entertaining, that you listen, that you leave more informed, more inspired, and more curious about our worlds, and ask more questions. Oh, super excited that you're with us. Thanks for taking time to listen. Get ready because it's going to be a fun episode.
Yep.
All right. Well, it is 6:42 p.m. Kind of dinner time. I know I've been kind of snacking during
Our
COVID.
mom at any moment will burst into this room and say,
"Dinner time, sick but I've been really loving. There's a lot of things about COVID that is just really unfortunate. But one bright spot is being able to eat well. It's been kind of nice.
Right, because you don't really eat well when you're back in LA.
No, I eat well.
No, she just tries to gather as much free food as she can and stuffs it in her refrigerator for months.
Yeah, I will say, okay, I'm not ashamed. I definitely still college food mode where you're in college and you just want to get all the free food and you get all the leftovers.
It's been 5 years since college. I'm still living a college student's life, but it's fair. It's fair to say.
Yeah. But anyways, context. We are actually recording this in our home in Fremont, California. So Gigi lives up in the Bay with our parents, and I the last couple of weeks have been able to visit them, so that's why we were able to record this together. But normally I'm in LA. But yeah, it's been nice being home, eating good food. What's been one of your favorite things we've been eating? I know my answer.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, anything that I make, I love. Just kidding. Oh gosh.
I think a lot of people have been cooking more. At least this is what I see, trying new trends or recipes.
Yeah. Cooking is now, I guess, a privilege when you have the time.
True.
I guess enjoying cooking, right? And it's been a trendy thing to try to, enjoy that. But frankly, I think most of our peers in our lives, they're just too busy to whip up something on a daily basis, But I'm lucky, I live with my parents and we have a system which is my mom.
Our
Our system, yeah.
what's been your favorite thing that you've eaten?
My favorite thing?
Or made?
I mean, my grapefruit salad. My grapefruit avocado salad.
So good.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Maybe Gigi will post the link to recipe.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can do that.
Well, I already knew my answer because I asked it. But definitely the buttermilk roasted chicken that we've made.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. If anything,
I totally forgot that meal.
I think for all of us,
That's hilarious. Mm-hmm.
Or, there's gonna be time for all of us to reflect on COVID in this season. But I already know definitely some of my reflections of the season is like I was able
to
make a roasted chicken. Like that's what I did during COVID. I will remember that.
Oh my gosh.
It's so true
so
though.
Significant to you.
I mean, it's so
that
easy.
Buttermilk roasted chicken.
It's the recipe's only 3 ingredients, and it's so easy and so delicious.
Yeah.
I've never roasted chicken, and now I can. It's like wow.
Yeah.
And it's so cheap. Like at Costco, it's like $4. A whole chicken is $4.
Right.
I was like, wow, I'm never gonna buy any other chicken products. I can just buy a whole chicken for $4 and know how to cook it. Oh man.
That's crazy. Well, we learned about the buttermilk roasted chicken from the awesome show that everyone should watch if they have a Netflix account, which is Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat, I think.
I think that's the order.
Salt, Fat, Heat, Acid. Oh, that sounds better.
Salt, Fat, Acid. No, I think... Okay, well,
it's by Samina Nosrat.
Samin Nosrat.
Samin Nosrat. Who is... Yeah, she wrote a book, apparently.
It's based off of
her book. She was a chef, trained, worked at a very fancy restaurant in Berkeley, California, which is just north of us, 30 minutes north or so. And, and then she decided, I really love teaching, love cooking, love the art, love the science of it. And she wrote a book, did teaching classes, and the book became huge. And then it became a Netflix show.
Did you get all this from Wikipedia?
I don't know. I just remember it.
From where?
I don't know, somewhere, some article. Google is the answer to everything.
Wikipedia. Anyways.
But yeah, and then we made the buttermilk roasted chicken, which was mentioned, or was it mentioned in the show?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Which episode was it mentioned in?
The last one.
Which is Heat.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. And then she invited her friends. And well, I won't spoil it for you because it's very dramatic and you don't want to miss out on it, on all the plots. But go watch it.
Go watch it.
But I think one thing that's really awesome about cooking, and I've been inspired by shows, about cooking and how to enjoy it, and how to draw so much meaning. You get really introspective because you're by yourself, you're cutting up vegetables and you're just thinking, right? And for me, that was Great British Bake Off, for anyone who doesn't know me. Lor-Shing introduced it. She loves it when I, tell everyone that she introduced something
I introduce a lot of great things to Gigi.
Yeah. Okay.
Gigi's like my first discipler. Oh my gosh.
That's so gross.
True. Oh man.
Maybe.
For the better or for the worse. Probably both.
Gosh, I thought we sharpen each other, sword, whatever.
But sometimes friends don't sharpen each other.
Huh?
I mean, okay, never mind.
Oh my gosh. What? Are you saying that I don't sharpen you?
No, I feel like... Okay, this is going way too deep, but there is sometimes feelings... I think I shared this with you. Sometimes I feel like, I've, influenced Gigi in the bad way.
Oh, you're talking about the opposite way.
Yeah.
You've influenced me
discipled you
also,
in a
bad way?
For better, for worse.
Oh, no, we don't put that shame on you.
That's true. That's good.
I've never thought of it like that. But yeah, anyways, so... cooking, Netflix shows, but I just love how fascinating it is because it draws more significance. You said, what I'll remember during this COVID period is that buttermilk roasted chicken.
There's more things, but that's definitely one of the superficial maybe things.
Yeah. But anyways, you also introduced the the really trendy drink, the Dalgona.
Oh, no, we don't know
apparently
how to
I'm
pronounce.
saying it incorrectly.
Dalgona? Dalgona.
Yeah, I kind of made fun of a friend who said Dalgona, and I was like, that sounds wrong. But anyways.
Whatever.
Yeah, so I wasn't a believer because
Well, maybe before, describe it. Like, what it is.
it looks like
So if people, if our
ice,
listeners don't know.
milk, and a pile of poop on top.
It does look like
Right,
poop. Like,
yeah.
very light poop.
Yeah, but then it's kind of trendy
Emoji
because,
poop, though.
you know, the poop will kind of go, dribble down the
To the
milk.
milk.
Basically, it's not poop, it's whipped instant coffee, okay?
Right.
I was very skeptical because, like, really, you're gonna make instant coffee taste great by doing this weird thing. It's not that weird, but it's awesome. Like, I feel after this COVID-19 shelter in place, I'm gonna make this, you know, a thing. Like, I want to go around the world and
already
make
a thing.
this. I mean, I know it is a thing. Like, I try to, but like in my life, you know.
I mean, this is like your gospel. It's like what you're gonna, like, evangelize.
Yeah, no, the
I once
gospel
was skeptical, and now I am
exactly.
a believer.
Yeah,
Which is...
the gospel is powerful when you first realize
It's good
your
news.
pride. You know, you realize your sin, you realize your pride, and then it's like powerful.
So the Dalgona is,
You
like,
know.
basically like the gospel of Jesus Christ.
It's
of,
not.
like, where you approach it with a lot of skepticism and
Right.
pride, and then you taste
You're hit
and
with
see
the sacrificial love that they're
like,
like,
wow,
you know what, I
like, this is-
patiently waited for you, and you tasted.
and it was amazing.
hungry,
And
yeah.
now, like, you are a believer. Your life has changed. And you tell other people, wow,
Yeah,
that's
'cause
so good.
After
Heroism.
I tasted it, yeah, I just
Who
kept on saying I was a
knew?
believer in Dalgona.
Wow, even Dalgonas can reflect spiritual truths. Yeah. Well, maybe some context for our listeners. You know, we talked about how we're both at home. I'm at home visiting, but we're actually...
Yeah.
So, what are we actually doing in quarantine, Lor-Shing, Gigi?
Right. We're not working from home because we're not
working.
Right.
Yes.
So I think we found ourselves in a funny situation where, you know,
Actually,
we
both of us...
graduated, we went through years, you know, post-college, and now we're both actually unemployed.
And, I mean...
Should have said that at the same time. We're both
unemployed.
No,
Oh,
it's not
okay,
working.
no.
Okay.
Which actually, you know, I mean, I think that's our next things that I was interested in talking about because, I mean, a good chunk of the nation or country or whole world is unemployed, has either reduced hours, have been furloughed or laid off, and it's super extraordinary times and circumstances that we are also we also share. I think those people who are listening who don't have a job or who lost a job,
Right.
I think we to some degree understand and relate. And I know for myself, this has been definitely a trying season of trying to trying to look for work, realizing there's not work. So it's been interesting.
Yeah, well, for me, I think the story is definitely different from yours, whereas, you know, you had planned to be working at this time, but, you know, everything kind of flipped. But for me, I kind of intentionally been unemployed for the past few months and will plan to do so in, you know, majority of this year. So, but, you know, just also for the listeners out there, that's so strange. I don't, for listeners out there or anyone really interested, I think I've realized that some of my friends who are in the same predicament don't know about unemployment benefits from the government. It's EED, is that right? EDD, sorry. And so I definitely, you know, I realized that just recently, like, oh, some of my friends who've been actually struggling to find a job don't know too much about it. So we'll put a link or something out there to share some of the benefits and also increases in the benefits. So definitely will help.
State is really trying to help people.
Yeah, you know, and I think like a lot of people in this situation where they're unemployed or, you know, their typical plans have been thwarted, trying to find different creative projects. And, you know, we've also had a lot of time to like be creative ourselves doing these podcasts. I think one of the things that we've spent a lot of time doing is not just this podcast, but recording songs and things like that. Do you feel like you've gone anywhere with your I mean, that's probably been your primary creative project, right? Recording and writing, finish your songwriting.
That's definitely been one of the primary outlets of things, disciplines, really, just to learn how to improve on my songwriting, finish some songs. I will say, like, listening to music, listening to old stuff, and also just discovering some new joys, like, there's an artist that we both love, John Thurlow. We've loved, for a long time, since high school. Just, he just released, he finally released his, it's not his debut album, but he finally released an album called Strong Love, released in 2010. It's finally now on Spotify and all the platforms. So
it was created in 2010. It wasn't finally released to recently, but it was released already. Just was never on Spotify.
Not on Spotify. Yeah. But it finally was on Spotify 2 weeks ago,
which is awesome.
So awesome.
Yeah, I was actually listening to a song recently, I think the song was called Fragrance, because I noticed a lot of new things or something that the
album's so good.
Maybe I just haven't listened to the album in a while, but I was like, wow, it is awesome. And John Thurlow has been my favorite worship leader for a very, very long time. I mean, you're a great worship leader, but yeah, I mean, if you don't know, Lor-Shing has her own account, and she's made a lot of awesome worship music too. She's like, don't talk about me. But yeah, no, it was pretty exciting. It's really exciting, and he's actually releasing a spontaneous worship set every week on, I don't even know if it's...
Is it spontaneous?
Tuesday. Oh, no, totally it is. You know why? He doesn't have a music sheet in front of him. He has the Bible in front of him. And he's literally reading verses, doing a devotional while playing songs. What? That is awesome.
Yeah. I have thoughts on what we call spontaneous songs, but that's for another time. Okay. But yes, it's so thoughts on Strong Love, which is the album that you should definitely listen to if you haven't listened to it. I just when I was re-listening to it, I realized wow, it's such a timeless piece. This could be released 2010, 2000, 2030. It felt very timeless. Right. It didn't feel old or dated. Yeah. And so I was like, wow, what a great piece of work and art. Totally. And then he has the YouTube channel. And now he just posts videos and it's been I will say it's been super a blessing for me in my quiet times. And I think for you.
You've been listening to it?
Yeah, I've been listening to it. Him and then my friend sent me some guy named Jonathan Ogden, who I think is also on YouTube, who've only posted 2 devotional sets, but they've been really good, and it's been it's been really
You're talking about his YouTube stuff, not the
John Thurlow?
Not Strong Love album?
Yeah. Okay. Well, both, but yeah, that's what I was referring to. But yeah, man, JT, it's our JT.
Original JT. Yeah, and just another shout out to a song that I found, which is by, I actually never knew them before, but I think they're called Artesian Worship.
Artesian Wells,
yeah. But anyways, it's like a church in LA area, but somehow I randomly found through social media a singer called Austin Turrentine. I think it's Austin. Spelled Astyn.
She listened to that song all day.
But her song on that album from the Artesian Wells album was released like just a few days ago. I was like, okay, let me check out her worship song, and I was just amazed because I love her voice in general. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I've been listening to that song probably like, honestly, at least 25 times in the past like few days. And my goal is to try to help it, get to the top of, their Spotify account. I want it to be like the most popular song.
Because Gigi Shi listened to it.
Yeah, no,
24/7.
But I was also happy because I was checking every day whether or not it was getting to like the top account or the top song. Because there was a previous song that they had released, so of course obviously it would have the most popular song. But that one only has like 2,000 likes or 2,000 plays, and I just checked today and it finally hit second. Austin's song,
that's all you, G. Or
it's
all
definitely
Jesus.
Not me.
Yeah.
That's some of the stuff that we've been listening to, been thinking about during this quarantine, where we've had the chance to be together, in one house. It's been a while. It's been maybe 5 years or so. It's been a while.
Sure.
For this long. So it's been pretty cool. So, next up we are going to invite a guest. Our very first guest.
First guest.
Which is special. So this person is a special person. So that's our cue too, because we need to go to dinner. And we need to get this interview going. Okay, there's a lot going on, but stay tuned. We're going to get there. See you guys.
Well, I'm excited. Today we have a special guest today with us for our first podcast. We've got Alicia Shi.
Whoa! Thanks for Yay!
A little introduction. Alicia, we've known Alicia since I think around 7th grade, or your 7th grade,
right?
So 13 plus years, something like that. Yeah. So she's known us both since we were kids. And Alicia actually lives not too far away. She's just a couple blocks. We're actually doing this. So Alicia is right in front of us, but we are adhering to social distancing. So she's actually, there's a barrier. Our window is the barrier.
So we can still see each other.
We're seeing each other, but there is no way that her droplets could. Anyways,
I could sneeze everywhere, and you guys would be safe.
You could sing, you could shout, you could lick our window.
Anywho, so I mean, we chose Alicia just because she's a dear friend of ours, and I think when I think of Alicia, I think of her humor, and I think she's hilarious. And there's just like a really a lightness that she carries, but I think something I really appreciate about Alicia is that she carries a lot of depth and insight into a lot of things. She holds those two very well. So welcome to the podcast.
Yay, thanks for having me. This will be fun. I'm excited. I was thinking about this and I was like, wow, I'm going to have to pretend like they don't know a lot of this stuff already.
No, I think not, right?
Okay. Whatever.
I mean, for the listeners out there, you're going to see basically like a snapshot of what our conversations are going to be like anyways.
Yeah,
if anything, a little facilitated.
Have you ever been interviewed or been on a podcast before? Hey, that's a legit question.
No. The answer is no.
Maybe like for youth group, or been on a panel or something like that.
No, actually not.
Maybe we chose the wrong person.
No. I just feel like she's natural.
She's a natural.
Don't you think?
I've only been interviewed professionally. Like I wanted, for a job.
Yeah.
A little
the only time
different,
people taking the time to get to know me.
Oh.
And did they ask like, oh, what's your story or something?
No one ever asks about it.
I'm not that surprised though,
Well, we get to do that today.
Okay, so I guess the relevant topic for today or during this time is COVID-19. I guess we've heard it all the time, just, you know, how life has changed. What has your take been about, this period? What was the initial like reaction and where are you now? I mean, it's been what, like 7 weeks ish?
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like awkward because I can see myself while looking at you guys. So I'm like looking at and I'm like, I'll look at myself.
Beauty.
No, yeah. So when this whole thing started, I guess like, so when this whole thing started, I think I was pretty stressed out just because I live with my parents. So I was just like, oh my God, like I think I had like one like very serious moment where I was like freaking out because I was like, oh my God, like if anything were to happen to me and then it would happen to my parents, like that would be on me. And I had this like, I felt like I was like, oh my gosh, it's like all on me, you know, like when in reality I think we started like sheltering at home for quite a while. Like my work, we were already working from home like a week before we officially started. So then I was like, wait, what the heck? I haven't even left. Like, I haven't even been anywhere. But yeah, so I think in the beginning it was quite an adjustment. And then my work was really busy. But now, 7 weeks in, I'm loving it, to be honest. It's been pretty nice. Don't have to commute to work. I get to like have more free time. I think the only bummer of it all is that like it would be nice if I could work from home and do all this and like if everything else is open and I could see my friends and stuff.
Basically, like work at home.
Yeah. Basically, if I had a job where I work from home, we didn't have to be in a pandemic. But yeah, that's it.
Have you felt like bored? Have you ever had a moment where you're like, I'm over this?
So it's funny because I joked with my friend that I was like, I think this is like the most social I've been in a very long time because like I feel like there's been so many more people. Like my friends are usually pretty busy and I'm the one that's like, I don't know, I just go to work and I come home and chill. But now my friends are all free now. So we're like constantly FaceTiming or like we're like playing games. And so I mean my schedule's pretty busy, you know. Just kidding. I mean, I'm not that busy, but there's definitely like more like planned hangouts like via FaceTime because like no one has any excuse anymore to bail. So yeah. If anything, I've been more social. It's exhausting. Just kidding.
Something that we talked about when we thought about Alicia was some of the unique experiences that you've had in your life. And so you, from what I understand, you took time off of work and went to Bethel and started their school of ministry. Why don't you tell me about that?
Yeah.
Well, maybe we can start with like, when did you go to Bethel School of Supernatural Ministry? And
how long has it been? It's
been almost a year. I graduated last year, May.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So almost a year. And then you went for a year. Okay. And how long you were working for 2 years before that?
That's right. Yeah, like something like that, like 2 years or like 2.5 years.
Right.
And then the program was 9 months long. So from like September to May. And then I just started working again last July. July? August? I don't remember. Yeah.
Right. So when you were there, so how do you see it now? Like present time, like when you look back at your experience at BSM?
Yeah. I mean, it was a great time. I go through phases of like, I think like when I first came back and then obviously it was like really difficult. It's just like such a drastic change, which makes me feel like, man, did I like join a cult? I'm just kidding. It's like probably bad to joke about. But no, I'm just kidding. But like seriously, like you're like in like this bubble where like, I mean, you're part of this program and like anytime you're part of some type of curriculum and some type of like system where you have like your schedule kind of planned out for you, to come out of that is always going to be like some type of transition. So I think when I first left, it was like really difficult because I knew that I wasn't going to go back. to a lot of people. So like my mentality was different. You know, some people treated the summer as like, oh, it's just a summer before I get to go back. And for me, it was just like, now it's the rest of my life. Just kidding. But it kind of felt like that. And then like, you know, the school year starts and you see everyone posting about like starting second year, and then you go through that phase and you're like, oh man, like did I make a decision? But now I definitely like, yeah, I don't know. It comes in like waves, because I think it's like, I definitely don't regret the time that I had there, and I definitely grew a lot. I think that I will say that it shows up like little by little. Like obviously like from the inside out, I do feel like very changed and like a different person, but it doesn't show itself in like very obvious ways. Because for a long time I came back and like, even like interacting with my friends, I couldn't help but feel like, oh my gosh, like am I supposed to like act different? Like, you know, like,
you're like super spiritual.
Yeah, like am I supposed to pray for every meal? Like do people expect me to pray for every meal? Or like, am I supposed to like not joke about certain things anymore? And I was like, okay, no, like I didn't have a personality change. Like that didn't change or anything.
And then that's a cult, you know. Just kidding.
Yeah. So dodge that bullet. Anyways, I think that it was a invaluable experience. And I mean, I never thought that I would do that, but the one thing that I feel confident about is that like I went because God told me to at the end of the day. And that's like not a great answer for I think a lot of people. And like even if I were to hear that myself, like I'd be like, okay. But I think at the end of the day, like it was me like taking an act of faith and stepping out and saying that like I trusted God, and like if it meant like me taking that time off to go to school, then I trusted that there was going to be good that came out of it. And I feel confident that there was, and I'll continue to see like the fruits of that. So for me, from that, I just felt like, hey, I'm not going to have like this major transformation. I'm just going to keep building upon what I like learned. So even if like, I'm not like giving prophetic words here and there, like right now, like maybe that's something I'm like continually working towards again. And like, that's like, but then where does this, you know, it has to start somewhere. So yeah, that, I don't know if any of that made sense.
Yeah. I think maybe, you know, since you've been, it's been 9 months or so since you've been in BSSM. How would you describe like the purpose of BSSM as a school? Like, why would someone choose BSSM as a school instead of something else? What's like their specialty? And like what would someone expect, you know, going there?
I think that like, I guess going to BSSM, what they really focus on is like kind of like this heaven on earth mentality and this heaven on earth like mindset and perspective. And they like really drill that into you and making you have the confidence to believe that you are like a powerful person in God, and you have the authority and you have the ability to walk as Jesus once did, which is like insane to think about, right? But so that's like, I feel like one of the big overarching themes that they're trying to instill in us, and they do so by like all these different means, right, of empowerment and identity and, you know, forgiveness and all these things that need to happen in order for us to like be fully alive in Jesus. I think that's like something that they talk about a lot. Like our goal is not like to just be in heaven, to die and go to heaven, right? As believers, our goal is to bring heaven to earth and to be fully alive with God and at our time, like now, you know? And so they do this by, you know, like, so like starting out, it's just like, I would say it's just like a purging process. Like you essentially go in and you're just like, what the heck is happening? Like everyone's from like around the world.
Right.
And it just, it goes from 0 to 100 like so fast.
I'm
like,
sure.
There's like people like left and right, like falling, and you're just like, oh my God, like where am I? But I think it's like, it's very strategic in that way, because, you know, you can't move on to like receiving the love of God before you like have to confront all these like baggage that people bring into BSSM. I felt like the biggest thing for me was just like learning to trust God. Like I like quit my job and I feel like even getting there was already like a big thing because
Mm-hmm.
I never wanted to go and I never imagined myself going. And it was just something that like I just felt like I needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so being there was even like an act of like, okay, like a daily surrender to him.
Right.
Like, yep, here we go, another day. Like these like crazy people like doing crazy things and like I have no idea what the heck is happening, but like that's cool, like, and I trust you. So I think that's really what, for me personally, what I took away the most was like trusting God with like my actual life. And I think that's not an easy thing to come by because it's so easy to be like, yeah, God, I trust you with my like cushy job and like my comfortable lifestyle, but what does it look like to trust God when like you literally don't know why you're doing what you're doing, but you feel like he called you there and maybe you don't have like stability and you don't know what's going to come after. I think that's what it looks like to really like have to lean in on him and like lean into what he's saying every day.
Yeah.
So like, it's almost like for me, I see it as I'm just like building a case against like any type of doubt that can come my way in the future. Like when people talk about like, there's like songs about like history, people love that, but it's like it's really because it's like it's almost like we can use it as a weapon, in times of doubt, of like even when I came home and I was like, wow, what a freaking waste of time, I'm not gonna lie, like I had that.
Oh yeah, you thought that?
Yeah, I was like, oh wow. Oh, cool. And like I shouldn't have done that or like things like that, but I'm like reminded, and I like all it takes is like I flip back to like a journal entry, or I think back to like this moment with God that I had that was so like clear and so like that happened, that like it was good. And for that one moment, like collecting like all these little treasures with God, and like for me, I hold those like really close to my heart because it's what keeps me grounded moving forward. Like because when I have those like really real thoughts of like, wow, screw everything, like I made like I heard wrong, like I used to think that all the time, I heard wrong, like it's like no, like because I got to do all these things and I would do it again to experience that again, and it was so impactful and like who I am today. So yeah, so I think it's like it's really important to like I guess like kind of like take strength in like the history that you have with God, like you said, because it's really what's going to propel you forward instead of like holding you back from like going forward again and like build like I said, like building upon the next thing, because you're like every cliche of every song is so true. Like if he did it once, he'll do it again. If he was good then, he'll be good again. And like the more you prove that over and over in your life, like the easier and easier it gets to like just say yes to him again.
I'm gonna reel this back. Kind of the topic in question is friendship, but I think what we wanted to maybe discuss. I mean, maybe we'll pose this question on you, Alicia. Is like, what has your experience been with friendship? Has that changed over time? And yeah,
right.
We'll start with that.
Oh, I'm gonna go first. I feel bad, like like no, okay. Not up to me.
We're just staring at her in silence.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, no, I'm gonna go. Experience with friendships. Well, now everyone's like all hyped up because you hyped me up, but my experience with friendships is that like, okay, I guess to quickly recap like my childhood and my upbringing with friendship is that I really, really wanted friends and I didn't have very many, that's like an overarching theme, like, or like, and then you move on to the awkward phase where it's like, you really try to have friends, but then I was like Christian, I didn't want to like get drunk, that kind of dilemma.
Wait, what are we talking about, college?
No, it was high school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyways, so that was like the kind of like the story, and I mean it was like a very real thing for me. I mean, I laugh about it now, but it was very real for me because I was just like God. I remember like middle school. I was like, God, the only thing I want is a friend. And like, not just any friend, right? Like a best friend, you know, because
Yeah.
that was like such a big thing. Like,
Hey,
my
did you
best,
say those exact words to God?
no, 100%, like
Whoa.
many times.
Wow.
Yeah, because it was just like a thing, like, you know, MySpace was a thing, you know,
Oh,
you have your like top
yes.
6, and I'm like, oh, I don't know who my top 1 is. Like maybe I have my top like 3 through 6, but then who is my top 1?
Mm.
And then it's like you can't put someone else's top 1 because like you can only have one best friend. And then so it's just like this weird thing, right? So I was like, God, I just want my, like, you know, other girls are probably like boy crazy. I was just like, I just want a girlfriend, like not a girlfriend, but like girl space friend. So anyway, so then and then I go to college, and then really, I mean, college was more like, you know, I just wanted to get plugged in the community. That was like my ultimate goal. But from that, I learned a lot about like making meaningful friendships, and how to like, and eventually like throughout college, how to like nurture and like how to develop those friendships. Because I mean, having to have like healthy confrontations, which is something that I've grown to love, and like really
love
like
it.
I love it. Let me come over and confront you. No, I mean, I really love it because it's so productive, and it's so like, let's just like, I just know that from any confrontation, like if it's like within the health, if it's done like well, and if it's done like in love, like it always ends up with like a positive outcome. Like I think I have yet to have like a confrontation that just goes so awry that like no longer talk to the person, you know. But that's to say, I mean, I don't do that often, so I just, you know. But yeah, so
she's getting all these text messages from people who want to have conversations.
But yeah, so that's something that I like learned how to do, just because I think it was just something that I like thought about one time. Like, you know, you run it, it's something that everyone runs into. Like, you have conflict with a person, right? And then you think about like, okay, like, and then the advice that every single person tells you to when you rant about it to them, it's like, oh, why don't you just talk to this person, right? We heard it a million times. Why don't you just talk to the person? It's like, no, I can't, or like all these things. But it's so true. Right. And then so in those moments of like, oh, you should just talk to this person, I like began to think about like, what are all the reasons why I don't feel like I want to talk to this person? Like, is it because like, you know, I go down a list, like, is it because I don't trust them? And then sometimes it's like, is it because I don't think that this friendship is like really worth investing in? And like, that's like an honest truth that you have to like come to terms with. And like, is like, I'm really good at the stuffing method. You know, I'm just going to stuff this as far as I can. And like, it doesn't matter. Like what they said didn't hurt my feelings, you know, like, and it never works, you know, like I've like tried that. And so, yeah, but I also think that in terms of like a Christian context, I think that like I'm learning more and more about this, even now, is like, what does it look like to challenge and call each other out, you know? And that's like a whole other thing that I'm like, I feel really convicted by a lot of the times.
Wow.
Like when I read in the Bible and they're like, call out, you know, blah, 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 like, and brothers, sisters in Christ. Like, you know, that verse that everyone like quotes, like, oh, like we can't judge but people within like our family, like brothers and sisters, we should be like calling each other out. I'm like, oh, it's like pretty clearly written here that we're supposed to be calling each other out. But then it's like, but you know, so-and-so is like getting drunk every weekend. Like, it's like, oh, but that's fine. You know, like God didn't really ask me to say, you know, I was just like, no, he did. Like, he really did say for us to like keeping each other accountable. So that's like a whole nother thing that I like don't know. I guess that's like one thing that I think should be in a friendship. And I mean, I feel like with like a handful of people, I feel like comfortable to do that and be like, hey, like maybe we could just talk about this, or I noticed this. Like, I always have to stand back and think about, am I approaching this from a judgmental perspective? And like, am I judging this person for like doing all these things that I feel like are wrong? Or like, am I really coming from a place of love? And I think that's like the bottom line of every conversation.
Yeah.
Every time you have like a conversation with someone, it's like, am I approaching this person with love, or am I approaching them with like hostility and like judgment? Because yeah. Anyways.
I feel like in our society, it's like the whole you do you. I'm not gonna try to overstep into what you're doing, your choices. And it's so like passive. It's so
it's like a cop out.
Yeah.
But I think, one thing that Alicia would like say often is like, you're close with that person when they're able to call you out, or like when they call you out, it's like an awesome feeling, and I've heard maybe say that too. So like in terms of like gifts, it is like an important thing. Alicia, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but majority of your confrontations were about like, if they're with, Christian brothers and sisters, like how do I encourage them or confront them about being holy, right?
No. That's not. No, it's not all about like being holy.
Okay.
It's
about all kinds of
sound
things.
Like I'm like
the holy police or something.
Yeah, like the holy patrol.
Holy patrol.
Yeah, and I will say, something that I think about in terms of friendship is the thing that has changed a lot, and I think this applies to any type of relationship that you're in, like, because there are times with my friends that I feel like really, really insecure,
Oh my
and
gosh,
like,
yes.
and it's like, but it's sometimes like my closest friends, but you just like create like insane narratives in your head. It's like such a Brene Brown thing to say, narratives. Anyways, but like you create like insane narratives about like, oh my gosh, like and you like recount every single conversation you've had, and you become a crazy person, right? Because you're like thinking about everything.
I've seen the crazy person.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it comes out, and then you're just, it's because like you really care. When you care about someone, like it's just, anyways. But the thing that I've realized is that like sometimes like healthy friendship and healthy relationships comes out when you have like a healthy relationship with God and with yourself. Like I find that my times of like when I'm most insecure are the times that I feel like I'm most distant, or quote unquote distant from God. I'm not rooted in like
His
like
truth.
allowing him to speak to who I am, and I'm looking for that type of validation from other people, and whether it's from like the amount of communication I'm having with them, or like whatever, like the amount of like invitations I'm getting to things, like it's very like subtle, like the things that can be easily replaced, and you find yourself replacing it with like your time spent with God, because sometimes you're like, yeah, everything's like fine, like everything's good, and then like one day you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, like this person hates me, like what did I do?
Yeah, that's
like,
interesting.
And then I spend like I don't know, like 2 hours with God, and then I'm like, oh, like it's like not a big deal, So I will say that like it really comes out of like healthy relationship with God too, because at the end of the day, relationships and community is important, but like we need to make sure that we're allowing like our identity to be rooted in what's true, and like
it's good.
Our feelings of security and insecurity shouldn't fluctuate with like how people are treating us, and like, and like all the self-talk and things like that shouldn't change when someone like says something mean to us, like I think for myself, I've realized like I can't let my world like crumble every time someone says something about me that like is like hurtful, like my like the root of it needs to like stay, because like I mean, for example, like Gigi's words like are minimal compared to like what God thinks of me. So if Gigi's like one day she says something that's like really hurtful, but then I go to God and he calls me this, like at the end of the day, it's just about me making amends with Gigi, but not allowing her words to to tell me who I am. Yeah. So I think that's like really important to having healthy friendships, is like what I've noticed is that my healthiest friendships are with people who are most secure in themselves. And I think that that's what comes first. And it's very easy to like find those people, or like, I mean, I think we all notice it with people who are like pretty insecure with themselves. It's like, no one's really attracted to those types of people, because like you could, I don't know, there's just something about it. Like, I guess I can't explain it, but it's like when they're not secure with themselves, like they probably have very like unhealthy relationships with other people too. And so, yeah, I think that's like really, really important.
To wrap up the conversation on friendship and healthy relationship, can you share some practical tips of how do I find my security in God, or how do I hear what he says about me?
Yeah. I would say first, like, read the Bible. Something I've learned, time and time again. It's like, just read the Bible. Like, there's a lot of truth in there. You'll find a lot of stuff about like what God thinks of us and holding that of value. Second would be, I think, just like, I don't know, just getting into the presence and like, even if it's just like 30 minutes of you laying on the floor listening to like a song, like, I am a firm believer that every time we like meet God in any medium, worship, prayer, Bible, like, I don't want to like, I believe that we come out changed in some way or another. We may feel like, oh, that was like a sick nap, like 30 minutes of just listening to a song, or just like 30 minutes of listening to a song, like, that's cool. But it's like, no, like, we need to like center our hearts. And when we like are intentional about meeting him, we come out and we're changed.
Yeah.
The third thing is, I think also just identity in God. I think also like community is really important. I think like you really do learn to like depend on like those around you and like let them know like, hey, I'm feeling this. And it can take like a very simple thing of like, no, actually, like, you're nothing like that. Like, or, hey, like, oh, I just feel like really like unproductive. Like, no, actually, like, you're a really productive person. Like, this is what you've done. I was like, oh, cool. Like, I like feel completely different. And it's like, I think we are meant to live in community. And I think it's important that we lean into that. I don't know. Those are like a few things that I've learned to like kind of stay rooted in my identity.
So gold.
I was thinking the exact same thing. I was just gonna say that.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
It's like we're sisters or something.
Or Alicia is just gold.
Alicia is gold. And refined by the Lord. Refined gold.
Oh my gosh.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
Man, well, Alicia, before we sign off, we have some just fun last questions for you. Two sides of the coin. So we're on COVID. We're kind of staying home. What would you, for our listeners out there, what would you recommend? What's your top recommendations? For like anything in
entertainment,
art, anything. What would you recommend? And what do you anti-recommend? Like, you do not recommend doing this or trying this.
Yeah.
Okay. Top recommendations. I think playing games with your friends. It's like so cliche, but it's so good. It's like,
is
so
it like
good
it's called playing games with friends? Oh no. Oh, you're saying in general.
Playing any type of games with your friends.
Okay.
I like code names.
Oh,
I think that's
yeah.
a good one. You can play code names online.
Are you talking about like horse
pace? Yeah.
Yeah. Or horse pace.
Yeah. Yeah, and like setting up times with friends, with family to play some games. Another one is exercising. Highly recommend.
Oh, okay. Recommendation. Okay.
Yeah. Specific recommendations? You can
No, that's fine.
Okay. I'm actually doing this workout plan on YouTube.
Okay.
Her name is Chloe Ting.
Is it free?
It is free. It's all free. So the Nike app, they have like free premium.
I love Nike.
It's like their training app. Like usually you have to pay for the premium, but now it's all free.
Yeah.
But running, I just love running. Running's a great one.
Oh, good.
Even though, my butt pain, but another story.
What do you anti-recommend?
Anti-recommend? I don't know, like things, essentially like things I hate, right?
Yeah.
Or like things you're like, don't do this.
Right.
Like been there, done that. Like I did it and I don't like it. Is it like specific to COVID or like anything?
No, just anything. Like don't go to this Taco Bell ever. Or
No, I don't like
gosh,
that.
it was Taco Bell.
exactly, I should have chose that one.
Oh my gosh.
Don't. I know, I should have prepared. I'm so sorry. I couldn't think of anything. I really tried to think about something.
Is there like a meal or food you tried that was like not good, or a movie you watched you're like, don't watch that?
Oh,
Don't waste.
I
your
tried
time.
to watch Love is Blind. It was not good.
Oh.
Oh, you know what I was going to say, actually, is Tiger King. Okay, well, granted, I didn't finish the whole thing. I think I watched like 3 episodes, and I was just like, this is like so like, I don't know, unpopular opinion, but I didn't like it. And like, I just thought it was so weird, and it made me feel uncomfortable. Like, I just like felt uncomfortable with everything. I was like, this isn't about tigers. Like, this is about like the people. Like, I thought it was about tigers. It's not about tigers, really. Like,
Alicia was expecting tigers. But
She was expecting like a National Geographic style of tigers.
Yeah.
well,
or
it's
it's
just
just,
like
like-
uncomfortable.
I don't know. It's just like the people are like really like not good. Like no one in that show is like I like respect them in any way. It's
Like
just,
there's nothing, no word. Like
yeah, I like got to. Did you guys watch it?
no, but I kind of know
Oh.
the premise.
Like there's one guy who, it's just like he was
Spoiler
like
alert,
hiring
maybe.
a lot of people from like when they were like young, like fresh out of college or high school, and like they like weren't like people. It's like rumored that they weren't allowed to leave. But yeah, so I don't know. It's just like weird, and like he had a lot of wives and stuff. I don't know. And then one of them he like married 2 guys, which is like, it's fine. Like everything's fine, but but like just like I don't. It's like. No, I don't really want to spend my time watching this. It's not about the tigers anymore. The first episode kind of was about the tigers.
Right.
It's like kind of interesting, but
Yeah.
All right.
afterward, but it's like unpopular opinion.
What
You
a
know, I feel like that's
controversial-
changed my opinion. Like, I was like on the verge. Like, it was like 50-50. Because I've
Yeah.
heard a lot of people say it's not worth
Yeah.
it.
Like mainly, I just want to watch it because I want to understand the memes. I just want to be relevant.
I will say it was. Yeah, there was a
Oh,
Tiger
that's for
King.
sure the drive.
There
Yeah.
was definitely a Tiger King reference in our Sunday service one Sunday.
Right.
And if you
Yeah.
watched it, you would have caught it. But I didn't watch it. I didn't catch it.
Exactly. It's like, oh, Carol Baskin. It's like I just want to know, like what happens, you know. So, but yeah, I couldn't get through it. So that's my anti-recommendation. It's not good for the soul.
Wow.
Wow.
I
All
wish you
right.
convinced me.
That's great. Well, man, thanks for being our first in our
Woo!
podcast.
Thanks for having me. This was fun. Very fun.
Cool.
That was a lot of fun.
Well, if you made it this far to the podcast, thank you so much for listening to our very first episode. We're excited and we're looking forward to bringing more people and producing more episodes for y'all. And yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah, you can just follow us on social media. We'll try to keep updated on when our next podcast will be. All right. Well, have a great week, guys. Bye.
See you later.